Hey Busy Bees! Happy Sunday! The weather is so nice today, so I thought I'd take you on a little brunch date with me. I have a whole spread prepared for you, and I'm so excited to share with you some of my favorite brunch items, so please be sure to subscribe below if you want to see more delicious and healthy, yummy recipes, and give this video a big thumbs up. And we'll go ahead and get started with our first one, which is a DIY granola with chocolate and berries. Yum!
In a large bowl, I'm going to add 3 1/4 cups of rolled oats. These are those thicker oats. Half a cup of chopped pecans. A 1/3 cup of almond slices. A 1/4 cup of flaxseed. Alright, now for our seasonings, I have half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and then to sweeten it up, I have 2 tablespoons of brown sugar and half a cup of maple syrup.
So the combo of brown sugar and maple will give the granola that nice crunch on the edges. That's like my favorite part.
And then to tie it all together, I have a 1/4 cup of coconut oil. You can use neutral oil for this, but I like coconut. Now mix until it's all evenly distributed. Beautiful. Alright, now it's ready to bake. I'm going to line my baking pan with some parchment paper to keep it from sticking, and then I'm just going to pour the granola out, like this. Now I'll just spread it out into a nice thin layer so that it cooks evenly and it can get crunchy. Alright, now we're going to bake this baby for 30 minutes at 325 degrees.
So for me, I love that I can customize this granola based on my mood. If I'm feeling like chocolate, you have chocolate. If I'm feeling like candied ginger or something a little bit more warm, that's also really great to add into the granola as well. Basically, this recipe though was inspired by one of my favorite cereals. It's called Love Crunch with the chocolate and raspberries, but I don't know, I thought I'd add my own twist and put a little more oomph into it. Have you guys ever tried that one?
Halfway through, I'm going to pull it out and just give it another mix. This way it bakes evenly and we don't have any burnt spots at the bottom. Let's put it back in the oven and ta-da! It's done! It's nice and crunchy and golden brown. I'm going to let it cool completely for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'm going to add my yummy toppings. Here I have some dried berries. There's blueberries, cherries, strawberries, about a cup of it. And then I'll throw in half a cup of chocolate chips. Mix it all together, and that's it. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, I can eat this for breakfast every day. Alright, I know you guys have been looking for some meal prepping ideas, so this makes a great one. In my container, I'm just going to add like half a cup into each, seal it up, and then in the morning, just add milk. Ready to go.
It's super portable and delicious.
But since it's brunch, we're going to make it fancy. So now I'll serve myself about a cup of granola into a bowl, add some bananas, a beautifully cut kiwi, some berries, and then milk, because it does a body good. Alright, now let's give our granola cereal bowl a try. Ah, so good.
Did you guys hear that crunch? It's so crunchy and delicious. Oh my gosh. If you guys decide not to use all of the granola for brunch, you can store it in an airtight container for about 2 to 3 weeks and it'll keep its freshness. So which one would you guys use this for? Meal prep or brunch? It's so good. I love the combination of the berries in there, the dried berries, and the chocolate, and all the fruit toppings really add just some freshness to it. Oh, I love it. All right. Now moving on to our next one, I have a cheesy delight. I love breakfast sandwiches, so I thought I'd make my own fresh cheesy scones with some ham and eggs.
Okay, we're going to start by adding 2 eggs into a 1/3 cup of milk. Mix it all together. Perfect. And we'll just set that aside. Now, using our cheese grater, I'm going to grate 6 tablespoons of very cold butter. Why did I do this?
The butter pieces here will add a lot of layers into our scones, making it flaky, fluffy, and so delicious.
Alright, now in a mixing bowl, I'm adding 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of mustard powder because it pairs so well with cheddar cheese, And this is optional if you want a little kick, about 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Mix it all together, and now we're gonna add in our grated butter. Now I'm gonna mix the butter into the flour with my hands, making sure I get like pea-sized chunks, like this. These chunks will help keep it flaky. Now I'm gonna add in some cheese. I have about 1 cup of cheddar cheese that I've already cubed, and 2 stalks of chopped green onions. Then I'll lightly mix everything with my hands. Then finally, I'm gonna add in my milk and egg mixture. I'll mix it halfway in the bowl. And then on a floured surface, I'm only adding about like 1/4 cup here. I'll pour out the dough, and I'll start kneading it with my hands. Don't worry too much about the excess flour. It's gonna help the dough from sticking to the counter, but you actually kind of need it because the dough is quite sticky. Now that our dough is fairly solid and about 1.5 inches thick, I'm gonna take my largest round cutter and start cutting them into rounds. I'll repurpose the scraps and then I'll cut it until it's all gone. Isn't it beautiful? I love all the layers of cheese and onions. It's gonna be so good. Now on my baking sheet, I'm gonna line it with parchment paper again, and then add on my scones. But before I put it into the oven, I'm gonna brush it with some milk. The milk will help make it shiny and golden brown. Beautiful. Into the oven they go for about 20 to 23 minutes at 375 degrees. And voila, they're done. The cheese will ooze out and get nice and crispy, and that's my favorite part. It's so good.
I don't know, these kind of turned out to be more like biscuits, but technically they're scones because I'm using a scone recipe for the ratio, but I don't really know the difference. Do you guys? Now that we have our delicious scones and they're cooling down, I'm gonna work on frying up my ham and eggs for the sandwich.
Here I have a nice thick slice of breakfast ham that I'm just gonna fry up on each side for about 2 minutes. I like how it shrinks down. Now for the eggs, I'll just add a little bit of olive oil, crack an egg, I'll let it fry for a few minutes. Ooh, look how it shrinks down too. We have to have that runny yolk. Now to assemble my sandwich, I'm gonna cut open the scone. Look at that cheese still stuck on it, and then you see those flaky layers?
The scone isn't dry at all, as some scones tend to be. I think because I added a lot of butter and the cheesiness in there kind of just creates this like moist environment. It's so delicious.
I'm gonna add the ham and eggs and then top it with some greens. Here I'm just using some baby kale, but I think arugula or watercress would be so good too. Close the top, and there goes the yolk. But let's give it a try. This is so much better than an egg McMuffin. Look at those layers in the scone. It's nice and fluffy.
My favorite part too is that crunchy, cheesy outside right here that got nice and crispy. Oh, it's so good. It's like cheese chips. To make this a little more elevated, I would add some like pesto mayo in there to give it that extra oomph, but it's so good as is. This would also make a really great meal prep item if you guys want to scramble the eggs into like patties and then just freeze it. When you're ready to eat it, just heat it up and it's gonna be so delicious. Okay, moving on to our last brunch item, we have a sweet treat. This one is inspired by my favorite brunch spot in San Francisco called Plow. Every time I go there, I have to order their famous lemon ricotta pancakes. So this is my spin on it.
In a bowl, I'm gonna add 1 cup of fresh ricotta cheese, 3 egg yolks. Don't worry, we're saving the egg whites for later. 2 tablespoons of whole milk, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, zest from a whole lemon, and about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice to give it that lemon ricotta flavor. Alright, now I'll mix everything together. It turns into this beautiful pale yellow color, and it looks a little grainy, but don't worry too much about it. Now I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of melted butter and 1 cup of all-purpose flour. I'll just gently mix everything just until it comes together. Alright, remember those egg whites? I have 3 of them, and I'm just gonna whip it up until we get nice stiff peaks. Now I'll take a little bit of the egg whites, and this first time I'm gonna beat it really hard into the batter so that it thins everything out. Now slowly I'm gonna add a little bit more and I'll gently incorporate it going forward. Just fold it in like this. Look how fluffy it gets. These pancakes take a little bit of baking technique, but they're really worth it. Okay, now in my cast iron pan, I'm just gonna butter it up. Just a thin layer here. Wait till the griddle is hot, and then I'm gonna scoop in my batter. I'm adding like a 1/4 cup here. Spread it out a little bit and let it do its thing. When it starts to bubble, I'm gonna flip it over. Ta-da! I'll cook it for about a minute or 2 on each side, and then I'll start stacking them. Beautiful.
Plow's lemon ricotta pancakes are a must try, and these are pretty close to the real deal, I would say. Every time I go there though, there's like an hour wait out the door. I think the next time I go there, I'm gonna try to do a chow out episode for you guys on my vlog channel, Wild Honeysuckle, so be sure to subscribe there too.
On the top, I'm gonna add a dollop of whipped cream. We have strawberries. I like to leave the greens on for some color. Some raspberries, blackberries, a little bit of lemon zest, and ta-da! To finish it off, I'm gonna add a drizzle of maple syrup. Shall we proceed with the tasting? You want that maple syrup everywhere. Alright guys, check out those layers. Look how cakey they look. This almost looks like it could be like a birthday cake, huh? Oh, and look at that steam coming off from the freshly griddled pancakes. Tastes like heaven.
The pancakes are nice and delicate, and the middle is custardy from the ricotta, and it's light and fluffy from our whipped egg whites. Notice how I didn't even use like baking soda or baking powder for leavening. I don't know, these are like my ideal brunch items, sweet pancakes. I just love them so much. But I also love savory sandwiches, so I don't know, that's why I made all of them for you. With Easter, Mother's Day, graduation coming, I know brunch is gonna be super popular, so I wanna know what kind of brunch items or brunch activities you guys do for these holidays. Comment below and let me know what some of your traditions are. And then next week, I have a really fun collaboration with my friend for Easter, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye!